Beast Wars Season 2 Episodes 2 and 3, Coming of the Fuzors Part 1 and 2. So I've officially decided anything that's Part 1 and 2, I'm just going to do them together from now on. And these two episodes were actually pretty cool. They're really funny, but at the same time they're also very cool because these, the way they did this story was like a Western. So even the very first episode, the way it ends is on like a draw, pretty much. It's like we have the Maximals versus the Predacons. But the whole thing is actually pretty insane because, okay, so this is the one, I just want to get this out of the way because it kind of annoyed me the whole time because I'm like, I don't understand what is going on here. Tigatron and Airraiser do not show up whatsoever during these two episodes, and that really bugged me because they needed them there because that was like the whole thing. I was like, man, it's crazy. We're outnumbered now because we don't have Optimus, and Rhinox is doing this crazy thing through both episodes where he's like, the alien ship opened up like a portal through space. So I'm gonna explore this, and he's working on a little plan, which is fairly obvious if you know what's, especially if you know the series. It's kind of obvious what he's doing. So he's working on this plan. So he's out of commission. They can't interrupt him because basically his spark is on like another plane, so if he gets interrupted, his spark will be lost forever. So he starts this thing, so he's gone, and that leaves Rat Trap, Dinobot, and Cheetor together. And then, like I said, Airraiser and Tigatron, they're just gone. Like, they do not show up whatsoever in these two episodes, and I thought that was so weird. They mentioned them for like a split second where it's like, who knows what's going on with this transmetal stuff. Like, maybe we'll find out if the rest of the planet was affected. Once Tigatron gets back to us. And I'm like, I know, like, Tigatron not being there, I get that. Because Tigatron's always, that's his thing, like, he's always gone. But Airraiser not showing up was really, really weird to me. I was like, where did they go? Like, they, it's just in between episodes, they don't really mention it or anything like that. Because they're in the first one, but there's no mention of it. They're just kind of gone in these two episodes. So that was the one thing that really bugged me. I'm like, why are they gone? Like, there's no explanation given or anything like that. They're just not there. And that's it. Like, they just aren't. But the way this episode starts off, or, this two-parter, is we get to see the two stasis pods from the end of the season premiere. And it's really different than it's ever been. And that's why this is called Coming of the Fuzors, because these two Transformers that actually pop up are not normal Transformers. They're actually fusions of multiple animals put into one body. So we have Quick Strike and Silverbolt. So Quick Strike comes out. He is full-on Western, his Tarnations and all that stuff. He's a full-on Western character, and he's like a blue and yellow scorpion, but when he's in his beast mode, his tail is not a stinger, it's actually a snake, because the pods were actually disrupted. So when they were scanning multiple creatures, and it wasn't like, oh, scan this life form. They're disrupted, so it was like they scanned like multiple life forms, and it was like the pod is damaged and stuff, but it was still in enough, working condition to actually, transform them. So they both come out as two different creatures put together. So like I said, Quick Strike is both a scorpion as well as a snake. He's mostly scorpion, but his tail is a snake. It's like a cobra. And then Silverbolt comes out, and he's a wolf mixed with like an eagle. So he's got wings. He's got like a wolf head, but in his beast mode, he's got the wolf head, but he's got like eagle's talons as well as, big wings. So they come out, and Megatron is the one to get there first. And it's like, hey, you guys are, of course, it's Megatron. So he comes in. They don't remember who they are because of the damages and stuff. So it's like, oh, they just come out. They come out like kind of in the middle. Although in the very beginning, you easily see who's going to be on what team. So they both come out, and Megatron is like, you both are Predacons, and all you have to do is say terrorize, and you transform. So they each do it. Quick Strike transforms, and he's like, whoa, like, I'm totally different. And he's got like, he has a weird transformation because he doesn't have hands. So one arm is the snake head that's normally his pincer, and then the other arm is actually his legs, which looks so weird to me. It's kind of creepy. It just, every time he closes his hands, he looks like a dead spider to me. Like, that's every time he does that, because it's just all the legs just closed in. I'm like, that's just like a dead spider to me. So he looks crazy. Like, his transformation, I think, is really crazy because he's got no actual hands. And then Silverbolt does it. He transforms. He actually looks pretty cool. But as soon as he does, he's like, terrorized, and he transforms. He's like, terrorized. I don't really like the taste of that. And I'm like, obviously, he's gonna end up being a Maximal. Like, it's so obvious from just where it starts. And even when he first shows up, because before Megatron and the team get there, it's Quick Strike and Silverbolt. Like, they actually do interact with each other. And the first thing that happens is Quick Strike is like, I'm gonna fight you. And he jumps at Silverbolt. And he's like, why are you fighting me? Like, I didn't do anything to you. And then, Megatron and them, they come in. And, they start, basically their first thing is shooting because he takes Inferno. So naturally, the first thing that happens is he goes in guns blazing. Just terrible first impressions. So, Quick Strike is like, we gotta take this guy down. And Silverbolt, the first thing he says is, oh, it's probably a misunderstanding. So it was really obvious from the very beginning, like, oh, he wants to fight all the time, he's gonna be a Predacon. And Silverbolt is like, give Hope a chance. And so it's like, obviously he's gonna be a Maximal. So that's how it starts off, where he's kind of on the wrong side of the fence. And we get these two new Transformers, the Fuzors. So they come into play. And basically, once again, Megatron gets any little clue or any little update to his roster or power in any way, shape, or form, and it's time to destroy the Maximals. So that's, of course, what happens. He takes everybody. He decides, and I didn't mention this really before, but because Scorponok and Pterosaur actually are gone now, that's really the only reason he allows for Black Arachne and Tarantulas to stay on the team, because he's like, well, I do need more people, so that's why he ends up keeping them along. But he takes all of the Predacons and is like, alright, it's time to go to the Maximal base. And, of course, the Maximals find this out, and it's like, well, we don't have Optimus, Airazor and Tigatron are mysteriously missing, and Rhinox is doing this thing where he can't be disrupted or he will die. So it's, like I said, Rat Trap, Dinobot, and Cheetor. They have to stick together. Dinobot has the disc from before, and I think he hid one in the last episode, and then he hid the other one in this one, or maybe that wasn't even in the last episode, and I was mixing my episodes together. Who knows? But he has a disc, and so he's going to hide one of the discs at the base. I probably have my episodes totally mixed up with my last review. He probably did all that disc stuff in this episode, and really nothing happened in the last episode, maybe, I don't know. But he goes back to the base, and he finds out, like, okay, well, Rhinox is down. We got, new Transformers coming into play. They're on, the Predacon side. And it's it's Rat Trap, Dinobot, and Cheetor. And it's like, it's the three of us. We can't let them get to the base, because Rhinox is going to get destroyed. This is what Rat Trap is telling them. And so Dinobot is like, well, let's take the fight to them. So he has like a full Rambo mode, because they have like this gun thing, like it's like a rack of guns just dropped down, and he has like a sniper rifle, he has like a bandolier of bullets, he's got like guns on him and stuff, and he's like, well, let's basically let's take the fight to them. So we have, I want to say it was like 6 Predacons. It's Megatron, Black Arachnia, Tarantulas, Quick Strike and Silverbolt, Waspinator was there. So I guess it was 5-1-3. So they were a bit outnumbered, to say the least. So they have this crazy battle. They're fighting and they're fighting and they're fighting. Of course, with all these Predacons, there's nothing that they can do. So they're getting outrun, and it's like, all right, well, they're getting destroyed. There's nothing we can really do here. We're just getting screwed up. They have this crazy battle, but of course they have to continue to fight. Like, that's pretty much how it goes. So, and this is getting into part 2, because when it starts, the first episode ends and it like goes into slow motion, and they like pull their guns out, and then it does like, it goes to like brown and black, and then it like burns away. It's like Gunsmoke. I don't know how many of you may have seen Gunsmoke. I'm pretty sure it's Gunsmoke. And basically it's like the screen burns away, and it's like to be continued. I'm like, they went full Western with it. So once they get into this battle, they're instantly outnumbered. There's nothing they can do. Apparently, their guns can run out. That's something they seem to have certainly added to the series, because any other time, their guns do not run out whatsoever. It's always, alright, I'm shooting here, shooting there. I like pump the gun to get like a stronger blast or whatever. But they're in this fight, and their weapons actually like run out of ammo, or like some of the weapons do. And also, I guess Rat Trap doesn't have a gun anymore because he takes a gun off of the rack. But through like the whole first season, he would just do this and poof, there's a gun. And same with Cheetor as well as Tigatron. I just assumed that their guns were on them, and it seems like they may have changed that. And I don't know, like there's like little things I noticed. Like that's a little weird. Guns are suddenly running out of bullets and stuff. And I'm like, it's a little weird because it wouldn't have mattered because it's 3 of them versus like 5. So them running out of bullets wouldn't have made much of a difference to begin with, because they wouldn't have been getting off like perfect shots and taking everybody down. But they get into the crazy battle, and they have to retreat a little bit, but of course they keep fighting. And Silverbolt mentions, like, these guys are fools, like, they're completely outnumbered, why don't they just take off? And then Megatron realizes, which I don't know how they couldn't see this before, but he uses his scanner and he looks like basically off into the distance, and he sees like this purple, like, I guess it's like aura, it's kind of going into space, and that's Rhinox going basically into this other plane of existence to open, keep this portal open. So when Megatron realizes that, he's like, oh, they want to, they aren't here to just fight back. They're actually here to keep us from the Maximal base. So once that happens, they send he's like, Silverbolt, basically just go. Like, he just fly there. So things get really messed up for them because, of course, they have to, chase after Silverbolt before he gets to the base. And they get there, they stop him from actually getting into the base and doing any real damage. Around this time, Rhinox actually does end up waking up, so he joins the fight. And they go out, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, they get destroyed. Like, it's way too many of them, for very obvious reasons. The numbers are just insane. So they get completely outnumbered. They get beat up. They had a crazy moment where Rhinox had like a hole straight through his chest, which kind of freaked me out when I realized that, because I think it's in the opening credits, but I didn't notice it when I saw that scene the first time, and I was like, holy crap, he has a hole straight through him, but he's alive. But they fall, like I said, only lava can actually kill these guys. But they have this crazy battle, they're getting destroyed, everything sucks. The only good thing that they had is that when they got back to the Maximal base, they stopped Silverbolt, and instead of destroying him, they like locked him up, and that was pretty much the only thing. So he's locked up, and then the rest of the Predacons end up making it a little bit after that to kind of take them all out. And as they're getting defeated, they're trying to fight back, they get beat up once again, ammo's running out and stuff. Rhinox, they literally had the scene in the last season where the episode where Rat Trap and Dinobot were arguing. Dinobot or Rhinox was there just covering them this whole time, and they literally made a point to show like there are just bullets covering his legs and stuff because he's just shooting so much. But he ran out of bullets in this episode, and it was like, okay, I'm assuming maybe that was supposed to be a part of the whole Western thing, and it's like, oh man, we ran out of bullets, there's nothing that we can do, and it's like, the sun starts to rise and stuff. It's like, they're about to die, and it's dawn, and the sun's rising and stuff, and it's all in slow motion, and like, they get defeated, and Megatron's like, we fought so hard to finally have this, why don't we enjoy it up close? So they're walking towards him and stuff, and then they cut to a scene where this stasis pod like pops open, and there's this figure, and they do this really weird thing where they do like a slower frame rate, so it's like it looks a little choppy, but that was kind of the point for it to be slow motion, but it just looked a little weird because it was like flashing and then kind of choppy. So this mystery figure, he's walking, and Silverbolt sees him, and he's like, holy crap, what the heck is this? And he's walking down the hallway, and all you see are like silhouettes and like shadows and stuff, and then the Maximals are about to get destroyed, and then here comes Optimus Prime. And I mentioned this in the last one, some of the beast modes some of the new forms I don't like. Optimus has to be my least favorite new form. Like, as weird as Megatron looks with the giant purple head and just the rest of his body is tan, I never liked this version of Optimus. I can't lie. Like, the one aspect of it that's cool is that when he transforms into his flying mode, he changes colors, because he's like, it's on here somewhere. Here it is. This right here. I don't know how blurry that's gonna be. I don't like this. I've never liked this. It's not this. This is what I like. There's no color to it, but I always thought that looked so freaking cool, and it's much closer to like the original Optimus, as you can tell. But they keep that a little bit with this, at his head. But I've always hated this form, and I'm like, it just looks so ugly to me and so weird. It doesn't even, I mean, honestly, outside of the fact that he just has like a big chest, it doesn't even really resemble, a gorilla. But that changes when he goes into like his flying mode, because he basically doesn't even have a beast mode anymore, because he's in his normal state, like his maximized state, I guess. Which one of the big things is that for the new for the transmetals, they're no longer, or no one actually is affected by the whole energon deposit thing because of the giant rays from the machine. Everything got either wiped out or turned into energon cubes, which are from the original series, which is really cool. So everything is contained. So that whole thing from the first season where it's like, oh, we can't be in our maximized form for too long, all of that is gone now as well. But in his maximized form, I guess, he has sort of the monkey look a little bit in the face, and you can see he's just big. And then I guess it's his beast mode. I mean, technically all that changes is the top half of his body, but he can fly now, and he's kind of like, if you see where his feet come together and kind of make like a surfboard almost. And I always thought that was a little weird too. But he completely changes, and like the top half of his body transforms and stuff, and he's like just blue from the head to the waist, like completely blue. And he looks more like a monkey there, or a gorilla. But I just always thought, I was like, I just never really liked that. I just never really liked it, and I was just like, just seeing it, I'm just like, I love his original form way more. Like Cheetor and Rat Trap, it's like, alright, some things I prefer about the original form, like especially for Rat Trap in his beast mode. I just prefer his original form because he just looks weird. He also looks like he has ribs. I didn't mention that before, but when Rat Trap is in his beast mode, he kind of looks like a rat with no skin on. I think that's one of the things that is weird, because of the color scheme. It's like red and burgundy, and it's like he kind of just looks like a rat where you just rip the skin off, and it looks kind of weird a little bit when I think of it, and I try not to do that too much, but I see it and it's like, that's kind of why it freaks me out a little, and I don't like it as much, because his beast mode is like a rat without skin now, and that's what it's in my head. But for Optimus, I just don't like it. I just never did. I never liked that mode. I always thought it looked really weird, and that's pretty much all there is to it. I just got to deal with it. But that was always the one thing I never liked about his transformation. Like, neither form looks cool to me. Like, it looks even weirder when he's like half blue, and it's like, that's so weird. Like, he was just like brown and stuff, and then it literally just changes and goes somewhere, and poof, he's like half blue, and it's just straight blue. There's like no tones or anything. He's just straight up one color, and he's half blue, and it was just like, I never liked that transformation. It's always unfortunate. I just never liked it. But he comes in. Of course, he saves the day. He has like, he does this sort of turret thing where his guns on his back can now be like lifted up to be like a cannon that he can aim. And I was like, man, I thought his missiles were crazy before, but he was just like destroying everybody and just shooting them up. And of course, he saves everyone's life. Predacons go back to their base. It's a very, it's a cyclical story. Same thing. Get a little advantage here. Predacons attack the Maximals. Something happens. Predacons retreat. And the episode pretty much ends like that. They get Optimus back. He's got his new Transmetal form. He saves the day. Airazor and Tigatron still don't show up, which is super weird. He does have one scene, though, that's pretty cool with Inferno after he like beats everybody else. And this is like the full-on Western mode. They have a draw, and it's Optimus and Inferno, and they're staring at each other. Inferno's messed up. He's got like one of his eyes is cracked, and you can see like ripples going through it, and it looked kind of cool. And so he's got two guns now, and you know they're on his side. Optimus is with him. He's got like this weird. It looks like a megaphone when they showed it. I was like, that kind of just looks like a megaphone on his waist. But you know they're standing there, and Megatron is or Optimus. You know he's standing there and stuff, and Megatron's in the background, and he's watching them. And so he's waiting to see what happens. They have their draw. Optimus, of course, wins, and Megatron is like, I'm gonna take advantage of this. And instead of that working, Silverbolt comes in and he knocks Megatron down this cliff. So that, you know, that was like the one cool thing. And he comes in and it's like, you know, I realize now this is, you know, where I'm supposed to be. It's with the Maximals. It's with the good guys who care about life and stuff like that. So he comes in, he gets like the final hit on Megatron. He says, consider that my resignation, which is one of the pseudo cheesy things they did. But you know, as far as the full-on silly Western stuff, I did actually enjoy it. I thought I'd be a little annoyed with Quick Strike because they were doing, you know, the wet incarnation sort of thing, and I thought it would get like too silly, but it actually works. Like, it's not too over the top. It's just, it started off that way, but then it's just like, oh, it's just his accent and he's just talking, and sometimes he'll say those sort of Western mannerism sort of things. And Silverbolt is super cheesy. Silverbolt is like, he has to be like the shining example, and he gives like some speeches and stuff, and it's really silly. But I like both the characters. I like Silverbolt more just because of his style. Like Quick Strike, I want to keep saying Scorponok, but Quick Strike just looks really crazy. Like, they did a crazy color scheme, but it works with the yellow and blue. But it's like, man, he just came out looking insane. Like, he doesn't even look like you know, a scorpion. He came out like yellow and blue. But I like them both, and like I said, unfortunately, don't like the new Optimus colors as much. But these were two pretty fun episodes. They, like I said, they did some of the Western stuff, and some stuff like the weapons running out of ammo, I think was specifically made because it was like, oh, it's, you know, they got down to, you know, the final shootout and they ran out of bullets, and then here comes the savior, the sheriff or whatever, and it's Optimus and all that stuff. So yeah, I can let it slide a little bit because I haven't seen it show up again just yet, but kind of have to wait and see. But it was still two fun episodes, two new Transformers. Gotta love that in general. But of course, if you guys have any comments, please put them down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.